the interesting thing that happens when you're in default is that first meeting. So I can kind of break it down into three different reactions. The first reaction is what I would call the more typical. You have a responsible borrower. He knows it's coming. He's probably tried to work with you, and you're still trying to work out. So into that scenario, actually, the default, you may issue BIA notice, but you may go into what's called a forbearance agreement. You do a workout. You try and figure out structured finance, and you keep that guy in place, and you just work because they're trustworthy. It's just a bad situation. So the second situation is you got a really bad borrower, and they're just not going to talk to you anyway. So they're not even going to take that meeting. So that, the fact you didn't have a meeting, they're not talking to you, it's all cut off. That happens. Well, that's kind of the 1 in 10 or 1 in 100, but it happens. The other is the more shocking and frankly more interesting scenario, at least from a human dynamics point of view, is you show up to this meeting and for some reason these borrowers have no idea why they're in default or how it happened, and you're getting really interesting stories which frankly don't make a lot of sense, but they're very interesting nonetheless. And or you get incredibly difficult emotional reactions. I've showed up to a meeting, the borrower had no idea what was going on, had a complete emotional breakdown in front of me, sobbing. A man once worth hundreds of millions is now worth nothing, right? This is a very difficult thing to watch. It's shocking because you can't actually believe that someone would not see this coming, but it's a terrible thing. So I've seen that. The other is more normal or just as normal, or just you show up and they have no idea how it happened, but it wasn't their fault. And and you find out that they've already made these structured financing arrangements and they want to do Business Insolvency Act. If you hear that as a lender, you instantly go into defense mode. In one meeting, this happened to me. Within 5 minutes, they said they had their own receiver sitting there saying, "Hey, we're going to do a Business Insolvency Act." I said, "Yeah, that's great. I just have to go to the washroom." Immediately, I went to the washroom, and from the washroom, I called all my lawyers and issued demand. So because you just do not want to see that situation as a lender because you'll lose control. So you get these various interesting stories that'll determine how you react to things, and that's not the default work is fun, but that's where it gets interesting. So that's just a couple stories.
Yeah.